First edition, 6:15 on the clock in our studio is wearing orange. You're going to find out why in a few minutes. Barbie's got a special interview with a very special lady.
I do. I'm excited.
I see her over offset waiting to come in.
She's waiting.
Yeah, so exciting there. We are watching the tropics very closely. I've been saying it's just close enough to be a little alert, but just far away enough where we're not going to see too much activity from the system. Right now, here is a look outside where we are dealing with a little bit of wind out there. The flag is not up on the flagpole this morning. It is 78 degrees. The wind is out of the north at 16 miles per hour. Our visibility is at 10 miles, so we're in good shape. There are some pockets of light rainfall falling here or there that will lead to a little bit of a drop in visibility, but not too bad. So we're tracking Tropical Storm Francine. Confidence is growing on those hurricane strength wind speeds possible in the Gulf of Mexico. We now have an 80% chance of hurricane strength winds, especially right through the center of this forecast cone. So confidence is growing that Francine will become a hurricane. That could happen later on this afternoon. We could have a hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico. That would be about 150 to 250 miles offshore from the coastline of Corpus Christi as that happens. So close, but not quite, right? But it is going to be enough to cause some conditions that will be a little rough, especially out at sea. So here's a look at some of our buoy readings when it comes to our wind speeds this morning. We've got some gusts out just offshore of Corpus Christi at about 27 miles per hour. 27 miles per hour looks to be the main gust. We don't have a buoy close to the center of circulation associated with Francine, but the hurricane hunters picking up 65 mile per hour wind speeds there through the center of the storm. Now, as Francine continues to move across the Gulf, it is expected to strengthen to a Category 2 hurricane before landfall there into Louisiana. We could see some winds offshore around 30 to 40, possibly 45 miles per hour. So tropical storm force conditions expected well offshore of the Texas coastline, but we are not anticipating much in the way at all in terms of strong winds here in Corpus Christi locally or across the coastal bend. This wind speed forecast is for Port Aransas. North-northeast winds throughout the day. We could have some gusts closer to 35 miles per hour, but overall winds sustained there around 20 to 22 miles per hour throughout the day. So it will be some strong winds that will create a really strong downwind or down coast current or downshore wind, and that could lead to a little bit of a push onshore with our wave action and wave heights and so forth. But overall, the tropical storm force conditions expected well out in the water, closer to 70 nautical miles or more offshore. But then we have a tropical storm watch right along our coastline just to be a little extra cautious. And then the coastal flood warning is until 1 p.m. on Thursday. And that's really my biggest concern is dangerous surf and then the chance for some coastal flooding. Right now we're looking at inundation around 2 feet at most, which does lead to some minor flooding for the potential of some businesses, homes right along the coastline. Elsewhere, not too bad of a flooding condition, but beach conditions are going to be rough. We are expecting the really high rip current risk with those wave heights 5 to 7 feet out there. Wave periods 8 to 9 seconds the next 2 days. Then those wave heights lower pretty quickly into the weekend. So one of the reasons this storm is a little bit lopsided right now is we've got a lot of convection associated with this stationary boundary that's still hanging out in the Gulf. There is going to be a little bit of a push to get that boundary moving north and allow Francine to also move northeast with a weak trough that makes its way across Texas and then kind of merges with Francine to help continue to push it to the northeast. High pressure sets up over the Gulf of Mexico. We start to see onshore flow, lots of humidity, a low chance of rain returning for next weekend. However, with Francine staying well off our coastline, our rain chances are getting smaller and smaller. We're talking just around 1/10 of an inch to an inch for areas right along the coastline, but Kennedy County still has the greatest risk for 1 to 3 inches of rainfall. You'll see here temperatures warming into the weekend. We'll be back in the 90s. Oh yeah, and our humidity is back as well. Barbie, John Thomas.
Of course it is.
Of course it is.